G'day, ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today, we're going to be having a look at the Super Mystère B2. Yes, unfortunately, we still have the B2 and not the B4, which is apparently a bit better. I'd be kind of interested to see it, but regardless, we don't really have that luxury, and so we won't be flying it out today. Today, we're going to be having a look at the B2 and how it's become decent. What do you mean, become decent? Nothing's changed. There hasn't been a single change to this matchmaker in 3 months. Well, the change happened a little bit before that, to be honest. It was kind of before the Swedish were introduced. The J29 and the G91R3 are the real kickers in this case. You see, the Super Mystère has one fatal flaw, and that fatal flaw is the fact that it turns and loses all its speed. Apart from that, it's actually a pretty decent plane. And so, being able to play energy when there are a lot of speedy planes around is not that great. But if there are a lot of slow planes, you don't have to play energy. In fact, you can play speed. And in this case, speed is more important. Speed will tend to win you out a little bit more often than an energy dogfighter. And this is pretty clear, you'll see in the footage. The team composition about a year and a half ago, or maybe a year ago, for the Super Mystère was mostly Sabres. And not just the F-35, the F-25, the A-5 and the F-2, the Japanese Sabres, the CL-13s. These particular planes, whilst being fast, also retain their energy in a turn, making it extremely hard to dogfight multiple at the same time. However, when you get to this particular matchmaker, where a lot of the battle is pretty much focused on energy, then you can use your speed. And this alone, which is a sort of player-driven change, if you will, nothing has happened. Gaijin hasn't changed anything. The players have decided to pick up the G91R3, the J29, and a couple of other planes that really favor energy-type dogfighting. And this is what has made the Super Mystère a decent plane. Honestly, I find that, as a concept, quite fascinating, because meta changes all the time in War Thunder. Everything is very, very dynamic, and that is all literally down to the addition of a single plane, or the adjustment of a single battle rating, or the buffing or nerfing of a single vehicle. And for me, that brings so much freshness to War Thunder. I've already picked up 2 kills because 2 people are playing energy and were not aware of their surroundings. These are really straightforward kills that you can just pick up without having much of an issue. And these are also a great way to be of use to your team. The A5 Sabre behind me is about to get absolutely smacked by Hunter, and now I'm looking for some teammates to help. Generally, if there is no one in the vicinity that you can go for, look for the enemy, or look for the teammate with the most enemies on him. Or look for a teammate that you think that you can help out. And in this case, I've decided to choose this F-86F and this J29, I almost said G91, because they are pretty common. Now, this J29 decides he wants to go for a vertical, and because I'm locking up, I can't really follow him, and have a look at the speed that I'm just completely dumping. I'm down to 500 kilometers per hour, and I was at 900 kilometers per hour about 10 seconds ago. That tells you how quickly this thing burns energy in a turn, but on the flip side, you can sit behind certain enemies really, really easily. This J29, it does not have that ability to just turn on a whim like that. And so, at these speeds, you're actually able to outturn it, despite it, being a bit fatter. The J29 is a very good plane, but unless you're at 300 kilometers per hour and your opponent is at 300 kilometers per hour, there's really no escaping. And so, the J29D is most unsporting. It's alright. I'm not really fussed, but I would like to see a mechanic added so that whoever's closest when a plane crashes gets that kill. I really, really would like to see that. I think it would be a good addition to the whoever J's out, who gives their kill to the nearest opponent. I quite like that feature. Anyway, this F86 F40, I believe it's an F40, decides he wants to go for a last minute head on. And for me, that is a massive no-no. You just don't do that, please. Do not do that. It is so risky and it very, very rarely pays off, and it is an F30. So, F30 is basically like an F25, but turns a little bit better from what I know, or something around that sort of margin. It's a saber, regardless. It is very, very similar to the F40 from what I know. But the J29 that I decided to save has pretty much given me an easy kill. Because this guy turned a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he popped his air brake out there, he gave me a really easy kill. And that's not the only good thing that you're going to see from this particular J29. There are other teammates that I can potentially save that will potentially give me a hand in a situation where I need it. For me, that is an important thing in Jets. And I think everyone who plays Jets should strive to achieve something like that. If you can save a teammate, I would consider that a good day. If you can save two, even better. And if you can get kills in the meantime, you're not only getting RP, you're not only helping win the match, but you're also saving someone, which prevents a lot of frustration, and it increases the likelihood of them working with you. That is really important, because teamwork, I have said this a million times and I will continue to say this, in War Thunder, teamwork is the most important tool. You could be flying the biggest pile of junk, but if you and a mate of yours are coordinated enough, you can pull off the impossible. And that is what I love about War Thunder. If you could pull off something to bait for someone else, then you have basically made your time worth it. This F30 here, or F35, has decided that he wants to just book it out of there. He wants to put the nose down and get the hell out of there, which is a smart move. He's the only plane in the area. There's a Super Mist there behind him, and then there's me following. So, I don't know. I think he did the smart thing. Not only that, but by forcing both of us to turn, he's given himself a significant head start. We might eventually catch him, because the Super Mist there is extremely, it's pretty quick. It's a little bit faster than the F35, but the Super Mist there bleeds so much energy in a turn. And that is a really, really clever little exploit that this F35 is using. If you're struggling, if you have a bit of speed and there's a Super Mist there diving on you, do a 90-degree turn or a 180-degree turn and then continue straight. And it will give you a lot more distance than you realized. That is a really, really clever trick that everyone who is fighting a Super Mist there, who can afford to spend that energy, should do that. Really, really clever move, and I have to give the guy props for that. Now, unfortunately, the F2 Saber off to the right of me there crashes, so I'm not able to save him, which is really, really sad, because I'd love to be able to save everyone, as you would. So, myself and this Super Mist Air are going to hopefully clean up the rest of the enemy team, while the J29D goes and gets his ammo and fuel back, and hopefully repairs any damage. Quick head-on with the G91 results in a critical strike, which is really nice, and I decide, I'm going to go vertical for that F2, or the F35 rather, and turn off my afterburner, which, I don't know. To me, that's, in hindsight, pretty stupid, because as you can see, I've bled off almost all of my speed, and am now left in a head-on with a Hunter. Hunter doesn't really take it, which is a smart move, and I decide to focus my attention on the G91. If I can get myself a kill on that G91, prevent him from landing, then that is pretty much, that's a really big deal. Not only that, but I can secure myself a little ace, which is quite nice, and the G91 decides to put himself into a very aggressive maneuver, too slow, and starts to fall out of the sky. Now, as long as this guy keeps falling for another 5 seconds, then we're good. We've got the kill secured. There is no way that even as a G91, with that great acceleration, you will be able to do, any low-speed maneuvering. Now, here is where I have to make a really critical decision. Do I stay? My fuel's starting to get low. It's in the red. Do I stay and help out the Super Mist Air, risk myself dying, and then risk the J29D in a 2v1? Or do I let the Super Mist Air die and let the, I suppose, fresh J29 keep at it while I quickly run back to base and rearm and reload. I'm low on fuel, I'm low on ammo, and I decide to return to base. I feel really bad for this Super Mystère because he's probably in a similar situation. But unfortunately, he was the one that, I suppose, got the attention from the F-86F and from the Hunter. I was really hoping that the J29 could make it in time because there's no way that I could have. And I barely make it back to base. Unfortunately, the SMB2 on the friendly team, who he's sort of stuck with me for a little bit, yeah, unfortunately he goes down. And there was no way I could save him without risking my own plane. And this is something that you sort of have to throw up. Or throw up in the air, toss up rather. It's really sad. I feel sorry for the guy because I hate it when I'm left out in the open like that. And unfortunately I had to leave him to it, which hurts. Regardless, well, what I lacked in the ability to save the Super Mystère more than made up for it with the saving of the J29. The J29 is in a 2v1, which he now made into a 1v1, and the Hunter is going straight for the ground. This guy won a 2v1. And with his help, we managed to carry the match. I save him, he gets a 2k, or 1.5. Let's count the Hunter FGA as a 1.5. So, saving your teammates can be extremely important. Consider them. Even though your teammates are half the time brain dead useless, communicating with them, saving them, using your smoke to show that you mean well, things like that, I think are really important. And for me, they make War Thunder a really, really fun game to play. And of course, it wouldn't be a War Thunder match without a post-game friendly kill. Those kills don't go to your stat card. They don't register as a team kill. Everything after the tickets bleed out does not count. So stuff like that is pretty harmless. It used to happen in tanks a lot. It happens when you play with your mates. It's good fun and no one gets hurt in the end. So massive props to everyone in this game. Remember guys, air models in the description below, of course, as usual. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.